Hi, 8th graders. This is Mrs. O'Beary, and I am taking you on a quick tour of the Course 3 McGraw-Hill Student Portal. Most of you will be familiar with this since most of you were on McGraw-Hill last year, so I'll try to do it as quickly as possible, but a lot of 8th graders last year did struggle with exactly how to click and get to certain things, and I want to make sure you know this the first week of school. This is my laptop, obviously my 3 children here. So open up a browser. So here we go. I'm going to open up Chrome. Chrome works really well with the McGraw-Hill Student Portal. You need to go to Connect Ed. Now, you may have already bookmarked that, but if you haven't at this point, my suggestion is go to Lindero Canyon Middle School because you should be able to get to that. Go to Popular and go to the teacher directory pages. I'm taking you to my website. It's alphabetical by last name, so I'm going to Michelle Soberi. If I click on my name, it'll tell me a little bit about myself, a little biography, and I'm going to go to Mrs. Soberi's pages by clicking on the little book. And here is a link to my website. Cool. Click on this link, and you'll be at my homepage, which is on teacherweb.com. So if the website, the Lindero website is down or the district is down, please don't just assume that my website is down because it's on teacherweb.com. So always bookmark this separately. Okay, well, this is my website, and I'll take you on a separate tour and a separate video of this. But you're going to go all the way down bottom left and click on Connect Ed. At this moment, I tell you a little bit about how to do self-checks and chapter tests and standardized test practices online. This is all on the McGraw-Hill Connect Ed link. I give you and your parents a reason for doing the self-checks because last year that was a question and why I assigned them. They actually, if you do them, have a really positive effect on not only your learning but also your grade. And here is the McGraw-Hill login link, and so I'm going to click on that right now. My suggestion is once you get here, bookmark this separately. I'm going to be a pretend student right now. So I'm going to log in fairly quickly as I can anyway, as quickly as I can type. And you're going to see 4 books, but of course this is because it's a pretend student. Your book is right here, Course 3. So let's click on that. That's all you will have in your portal, and you'll see your opening screen. So first of all, here is the ebook. You got a hard copy of the book, actually a soft covered book, which kind of is like a workbook textbook. A few parents last year actually had a question on where was the real book. You know that that's the real book, and you'll be taking that back and forth to school every day. You just got volume 1. It is not that heavy, but if it's driving you crazy, you think it's that heavy, you can rip out carefully an entire chapter that we're working on. We're going to start with chapter 2, by the way, and then put it in like a little binder, or put it in one of those little things called brads, those little gold things that you can put at the top corner. Just be careful not to lose anything. Okay, so here is the ebook. So remember that you can always go to the ebook. Here's the table of contents. I just said we'll be starting with chapter 2, not chapter 1, equations in 1 variable. So this is solving equations 1 steps, 2 steps, etc. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to go back to your home screen in your portal. In my class, generally, you're going to be clicking on this menu and clicking on resources. And then what happens is all the resources that you have show up here on the right. I'm going to click on 48 because this will allow you to see everything. There's no difference here, but there would be in different lessons. So first of all, in the chapter overview, let's start with the overview. So see, now there's a lot more things in the results column. You'll be going to check every time for the chapter overview. In this chapter overview, you'll get to something called chapter readiness. So let's open that up in the separate window. And these are 10 questions that get you ready for the chapter. And so the chapter is equations in 1 variable, and it's trying to see, can you solve a simple 1-step equation pretty much from last year? And hopefully you can do that. So let's pretend that I think that I finished and I hit check it. And Glencoe, which is McGraw-Hill, says, you have unanswered questions. Do you still want to submit? If I say okay, because I really think I did well, I got a 0%. Please understand that these get recorded in your assessment part of your grade. It's only 10 points, but for this one I would have gotten 0 out of 10. If you get 10% right, 1 out of 10, etc. You don't have to accept that score, nor should you accept that score. You should strive for 80% or more. So again, if you're not familiar, or you are familiar and you need review, on the bottom you would click try again. Okay, when you hit click try again, sometimes they're the same questions and sometimes they're not. They're similar. So let's just answer one of these right. So I would, the opposite of dividing by 9, multiply by 9, multiply by 9, and my answer is 45. Let's just do one. Divide by 5, divide by 5, I'd get 8. Divide by negative 25, divide by negative 12, I'll get 3. And let's pretend that that's it for me, okay, because I don't want to spend time. I'm going to check it. And now hopefully I got a 3. Okay, so I got 3 correctly and 7 incorrectly. So now I get a 3 out of 10. It doesn't matter. What I really want to show you now is, let's pretend that I got 80% and I now want to send it to Mrs. Soberi to get my credit. So I'm going to type in my name, and let's pretend my name is Joe Cool. I've typed it before, so it came up. Be very careful here. You need to put your full email address, and we're talking about your lvusd.org, your student.org address. I'm just going to put a bunch of X's right now, but that should be your student ID. And here's what's critically important. And again, it's filling it in for me because I've typed it so many times. M. Soberi, my name is Michelle, M. Soberi at lvusd.org. Last year we had huge issues with students saying that, they had submitted something. At the very beginning of the year, there were reasons for that. We solved that with the district. And then as the year went by, students would still say, oh no, I did that, but they really had not submitted it properly. And almost always it was because they misspelled my name, or they did LUVSD, or they forgot the .org. It has to be exactly like I'm showing you right now. So I've spent a long time freezing this screen. msoberi at lvusd.org. Now, when I hit send mail, it'll say your results have been sent, but understand, and I don't know why McGraw-Hill has done this, no matter what you type in there, it'll say your results have been sent. I don't know where, if they haven't gone to me, but it'll always give you that. So please make sure that you're doing that. Okay, so I'm going to click out of that, and we're back to here. So now, to get back to the screen where we see all the resources, we click on all resources, and there are several things here, but I'm actually going to go to chapter 2, lesson 1. Okay, so now chapter 2, lesson 1, there's lots of resources here. And if you click on check this time, you get the self-check quiz. These self-check quizzes are only 5 questions, and I'm going to at least try this year to make them sort of like a warm-up in class on your laptop so that you won't have to go home and forget or worry about them. So we're going to do these, at least we're going to try and see how it works out this year, because everyone has laptops, to do these self-checks in class. So there's 5 of them, and the same thing happens if I hit check it right now, I'm going to get 0. Okay, so this time I got it 0 out of 5, and this does not go into your assessment grade. This one goes into your homework grade. So it's like a little homework quiz, if you will. Again, you would, your name, your email, the entire email, and msoberi, and let's just do that again, at lvusd.org. Okay? And then you would send the mail again. And it would say that again. Okay, so let's click out of that. Okay, so again, you'll do those checks, but at least at the beginning of the year, we're going to try to do those in class, so you won't forget to do them. Let's go back to all resources. eHelp. Let's remember what eHelp was for last year. McGraw-Hill has put in these little houses in your book. And when you see a little house in the homework, so this is number 3 and number 11, not only does it give you the answer, which all the odd answers are in the back of the book, but it gives you the how to work out the answer. Okay, so that's what eHelp is. It's not as important in my class because, to be honest, I put all the worked out answers online. I'm going to show you where after I go through this menu. So just know that all the solutions are online. I'm going to go to response to intervention right now. Response to intervention means, and by the way, there are two of them, but they're exactly the same. The editable one, if I go to that, it's going to give you a Word document that you can print out. So let's see, it should open Word, and then I'm just going to click off right now. Yeah. So there it is. And so I'm going to click out of that. By the way, why do we do McGraw self-checks? That's online, which I explained. It's an explanation of why we do them. So let's go to all resources, response to intervention, all resources again. If I go to the one that just says worksheet, which is the one on the left, now that reteach will be online for you to look at. And the great thing about the reteaches is that they give really good examples on the top and they work something out, and then they give you some more problems. But they don't give you the answers unless I give you the answers online. Just so you know, parents were looking for the answers last year. Unless I put them online, they don't give them to you, just in case I want to give them to you for homework or something else. Let's skip over tools because that's not important. What's important is tutors. I had a lot of issues with students coming in before school or after school for math help, and I'm really going to be strong about this at the beginning of this year. These tutorials, these tutors, Mrs. Workman, etc., they do a really good job of producing these little videos to help you. So please, please, you absolutely can still come in for help. But this one says solve equations with rational coefficients. So let's click on Mrs. Workman and let's understand something. Okay, so let me go full screen, and it's giving you a problem to solve and check your solution. Watch where I'm going. Watch my cursor right now, because she may be kind of going a little slower than you want her to go. I'm going to go and drag. Watch what I do as I drag. So now she's writing, she's telling us about reciprocals. She says to multiply each side equally by the reciprocal, and I drag. Okay? So I think if you understand that you can fast forward it by dragging below, you'll understand that they're extremely good. Let's try this one. One more, just to emphasize how good they are. So this one is Mr. Hardesty doing a same type of problem. Let's drag Mr. Hardesty, and he's going to do the same thing, and he's going to check it, and escape. Okay, so I'm going to get out of the tutors. So what do? We go back to all resources. Vocab just takes you to a glossary, and then worksheets. So every worksheet will have two of the same thing. So you see skills practice and you see skills practice again. And again, the reason is because some of them are Word documents and they're the ones that are editable. And the other, if you just click on worksheet, these will come up online, just so you know the difference. But the answers are nowhere unless I give you the answers, and that's so that teachers can give them as homework. Let's go back to all resources. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, so we went to chapter 2, right? We're on lesson 1. Now, let's drag all the way to the bottom to chapter review, past all the lessons. Okay, so now we're in chapter review. In chapter review, when I click the word check, two things come up. And this was a huge issue last year in all my classes. I do assign these at the end of every chapter, and I give you a couple of days for them. The one on the left, open this resource, is, I think it's anywhere from 12 to 16 questions. This one happens to be 12. Multiple choice for just that chapter, chapter 2, equations in one variable. Same thing, you solve them, they even give you hints. Let's click on this hint. Begin by using the distributive property here, okay? And you check it, and I'm going to get 0 on this, and I'm going to submit it, etc. The same thing. Here was the issue, though. The issue was the standardized test practice, which is for every chapter. So notice how this is chapter 2. Okay, when I click on this right now, open this resource, it'll say chapters 1-2, and kids were saying that was chapter 1, lesson 2. That's not what that means. It means chapters 1 and 2. It's cumulative. Now, we're starting with chapter 2 this year. All 3 middle schools met together at the end of school last year and decided that chapter 1 was pretty much a killer in some ways, and decided to skip over chapter 1. So if I want to give you the standardized test practice now, there are several questions here. Number 1 for sure. Number 2, number 4. Let me just keep going. 3. Number 6. Actually, most of these are from 1 through 7 are from chapter 1. Then 8 through the end pretty much are chapter 2. So I'm going to have to think about that. What I might do, because I still think they're really important to do, what I might do is delay the standardized test practice until we also cover chapter 1. Or what I might do is just record it out of the number of problems that you should know from chapter 2, which would be 8 through 20. That would be like only 12 problems as opposed to 20. But that's where you find them. So let's take a look at this one more time. You go to that chapter and you go all the way to chapter review and you click on the word check. Here we are at all resources again. You click on check and then you'll get these 2 that you need to submit online to me. Okay, so let's go to resources again. Okay, and let's go to lesson 1 and make sure that I've covered everything. Okay, so I have covered everything here. So now let's go to your homework. I do not use this homework tab very much at all because I have my own website and I'm also going to put you on Google Classroom. But this is where you will find the e-solutions, which are the worked out solutions for all the odds and the evens for the McGraw-Hill homework that I assign. They won't be the answers to the worksheets if I decide to give you a worksheet and I also decide to give you the answers. That would be on my own website, teacherweb.com. The e-solutions are already online, but you don't see them because they're in DUE, due later. If I click on that, generally speaking, the e-solutions for the chapter will be in due later because I put them on for a couple of weeks because they're the entire chapter. So now I click on this, and what you'll see is you'll see all the resources. And so the first one, for whatever reason, they uploaded it this way, 2.3, then 2.2, then 2.5, then 2.1, then 2.4. I have no idea why McGraw-Hill did that, but just go through them all. There are 5 sections to chapter 2. And so if I click on this one right now, how do you open it, Mrs. Silberry? You either double click or you hit open, and here it is. 2-4, solve equations with variables on each side, and it's every question worked out for you. So it's a huge help, especially, I'm going to leave this, for students who don't have time to come in for math help or can't for some reason. Try this, but don't just copy it. You know, can I stop you from doing that? No, but that's not the way to use it. The right way to use it is to try the problem on your own and then look at the problem once you're done. Just use it as a help. Okay, and that's it. So going back to the beginning, to resources. Oh, actually, I just want to go back to home. Here we are. So there we go, 8th graders. So hopefully you'll be using this McGraw-Hill website pretty much all the time. You can even leave your textbook either at school. Oh, you don't have lockers. So I guess you could, in fact, leave it at home if you wanted to, and use your laptop in class for the textbook. But the problem with doing that is then you can't write in the textbook as we're learning the lesson. Okay, I'll see you in class.